Welcome to your Barbados Today evening update for Tuesday, July 17. Thanks for joining us. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Our top story: a St. Michael family is in pain and disbelief as they seek answers to last night's senseless killing of 58-year-old Colleen Payne. Payne, who lived at Lodge Hill, St. Michael, was at the Royal Bank of Canada's automated teller machine, or ATM, when two men attacked her and shot her. She later succumbed to her injuries at the Queen Elizabeth Hospital. Her sister Ella Nowell told Barbados Today that the family has been shaken. She lamented that she repeatedly warned her sister not to go to the ATM alone.
ATMs are dangerous. So much things are happening these days. And down at the university is one of those places where, yes, there's traffic, but there are not people who are like in and out at the ATM after a certain time. I think we have to learn that we can't trust anybody. It doesn't matter who they are. They can look like a man in a suit. We don't know what's in his jacket, whatever. So we have to be careful. We have to choose how, when, and where. And we have to always be careful that what we do, our actions are actions that are not going to come back to haunt us or haunt people around us.
Payne, a member of the Black Rock Seventh-day Adventist Church, was fondly remembered by Pastor Dale Haynes. He told Barbados Today the church will sorely miss Payne, who he described as vibrant and energetic. He says she was busy planning a youth camp, which was set to open on Thursday.
Not only was she the person that was doing the pathfinding, but she also worked with the children, because, being a professional, I think she worked along with the child care board, and a wonderful mentor as well, too, for all at the church, the young ladies and the children at the church. She would always be there. But she's also a wonderful team player too. As I said, she served on the church board, and she would support us, present at all the meetings, give her input, and really seek to help, help us impact our community and impact our church community.
Meanwhile, the opposition Barbados Labour Party warns that Barbadians are feeling under siege, and the party has called for an immediate crackdown on firearms. Former Attorney General Dale Marshall raised concerns that the island has recorded its 18th murder, with 4 homicides in the last 2 weeks alone, compared to a total of 21 murders last year. He insisted that Parliament does not need another debate on law and order, but effective action from government before another innocent life is taken. 1 in 3 women and girls worldwide will face some form of domestic violence in their lifetime, and United Nations officials have embarked on a mission to reverse the trend. Today, UN Women launched the None in 3 program, a multifaceted venture aimed at changing the culture of the region that has perpetuated this practice. Speaking at the start of the training workshop aimed at preventing domestic violence, Deputy Representative of the UN Women's Multi-Country Office in the Caribbean, Tony Broadber, said domestic violence is so normal for some people that they often fail to recognize the warning signs.
Violence and domestic violence is normalized. Some women and a lot of men who were interviewed, and many of the youth, didn't recognize some of the key characteristics of domestic violence, like sexual violence and economic violence. And one can only assume that that is just because people think this is how things are, and implicitly how things should be between a couple. And then finally, violence and domestic violence is about power. Power being the ability to make people do what we would have them do.
In other news now, Tropical Storm Dawn is no longer a threat to Barbados. At 2 p.m. today, the Barbados Meteorological Office discontinued its storm watch. Earlier in the day, our news team was on the road, and from all indications, it was business as usual. At Carter's General Store in Wildy, Alan Goodman said Barbadians are more prepared this hurricane season.
We've discovered Barbadians are being a lot more educated themselves and watching it a lot more themselves. So for instance, this one is actually going to the south of the island. It doesn't seem as much as a threat, but Barbadians are still taking their precautions. But as for the rush, no, we haven't seen any rush. We have extra amount of stock on the shelves, just to cater for those, cater for those individuals that do want to take a little more preparation.
The Met Office says the island will still experience some scattered showers and possible isolated thunderstorms with breezy conditions tonight. Authorities here are looking to increase the frequency of opening the sluice gate at Graham Hall Christchurch to help stave off wastewater overflows during bouts of heavy rain. Manager of the Barbados Water Authority's Wastewater Department, Patricia Innes, told a news conference yesterday that poor drainage and indiscriminate waste disposal are already posing serious problems for the sewerage system.
If we have a case where there is not a sufficient drainage opening of the Graham Hall of the sluice gate, where there is excessive buildup of water, which has been the problem. If the gates are not opened, there is not sufficient drainage. And then we literally watch, a rising of the levels over hours. That rising eventually would get into the networks, that is the sewage networks. Even though we have cleared all the passages, so we have no blockages. We are looking at dealing with infiltration problems in the sewer networks. That is sending down CCTV operators to look at major areas where there are cracks and try to block that. This is where we are at now. But even as we attempt to block perfectly our sewer network, which is a closed network, a sanitary network, once there's excessive amounts of water on the surface, over time it will get in the network.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Morning, Miss Oya.
Morning. You again. So you're washing cars now? Well, I can't keep up with you at all.
Yes, girl, you know they're going to provision to selling slow. And I don't sell nation newspapers at all because them don't sell. So I washing cars now. I like to get up before 8:30 because I can't take the hot sun. You want the car wash?
No, not today. It clean.
But you're going in very early though?
Yeah, I just going early so I can read the Barbados today online before work starts.
Right. But you can still let me clean the window for the $2. At least it's still cheaper than the nation newspaper.
All right.
I got a special boo here that I got it shining. Thank you. Enjoy your day here.
You too.
All right. What that paper is? She can see clearly when the dirt is gone.
The Barbados Today, news you can trust.
On the regional front now, a few hours' time, that's when the counting of ballots will get underway in Bermuda to determine who will govern the British Overseas Territory. Thousands trek to the polls to vote in today's election, which is a straight fight between the incumbent Progressive Labour Party and the One Bermuda Alliance. The PLP, led by Premier Michael Dunkley, has urged Bermudians to vote in favor of continuing the progress, while David Burt's and the One Bermuda Alliance is promising to deliver strong new leadership. More than 46,000 people were registered to vote. And on the international scene, at least 547 young members of a renowned boys' choir in Germany were subjected to physical and, in some instances, sexual abuse over a period of 60 years. The damning allegations emerged from a report which found that 49 members of the Catholic Church carried out the abuse between 1945 and the early 1990s.
The revelations emerged in 2010, and 5 years later a report was commissioned to find out what happened.
Gewalt, Angst und Hilflosigkeit.
The choir was run for 30 years by former Pope Benedict XVI's elder brother, George Ratzinger, who acknowledged that he'd slapped pupils in the face, but he said he'd not realised how brutal the discipline was. The investigation did not show he was aware of any sexual abuse. In front of the class, I was given 18 slaps in the face, put against the wall, and in the prefect's room you had to take off your pyjamas, and whilst naked you were smacked. It was very humiliating. Whilst the alleged perpetrators have been identified, they're not expected to face criminal charges because the alleged crimes took place too long ago to be legally valid. Meanwhile, plans have been announced to offer victims compensation by the end of this year.
And that's news, but for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Now, you can also subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We are also on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic evening.